What's up, everybody? Welcome in. It's Courtside Countdown. Jake Chapman here with you. Dan Savage is in traffic on his way out to check out the Osceola Magic tonight in the G League playoffs, and Orlando is in Washington, D.C. We're getting set for our fourth and final matchup this season with the Wizards. It's been 7 straight wins for the Magic going back to the beginning of last year against their division rival, so certainly positive precedent, and the Magic coming off a win against San Antonio earlier this week, and that was a 116-105 final on Tuesday night. It was one of those games, as we bring Dan in, that felt a little bit precarious for the first about 3 quarters, but then the Magic defense locked down in the fourth. You outscore them 37-21 in the fourth quarter of that game. You got 18 made triples. That's always a good sign, Mr. Savage. 7 of 9 for Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. He had a big one late. And now the Magic hope to bottle that up and bring it to Washington, a Wizards team that is really sort of playing out the string on the season. They've lost 8 of 10, but they are coming off a win last night against the Sacramento Kings. 116-111 was the final there. They knocked down a whole bunch of threes in that game. So it's another one of those games just like the other night where the Magic are going to need to lock in defensively. Don't get caught into a track meet. Don't get caught into a 53-point attempt, 3-point shooting competition with this group, and hopefully you're able to get away with the dub and then come back for a nice little mini all-star break. Magic won't play again here at the Kia Center until Tuesday night, and that'll be getting set for the final 4 games of the season. Huge back-to-back with Atlanta and Boston, and then we'll wrap things up with Indiana and Atlanta once more out on the road. The win the other night, I believe we have some highlights, and oh, by the way, you're getting a look at Houston McCall, our lead videographer, on the floor avoiding rebounds. She's got Goga Batadze getting set for the Washington Wizards coming up here. But Dan, we spoke before the Spurs game the other night. I think I was a little nervous with the 16 3-point attempts in the first quarter of that game. You did make 7 of them, but we knew what San Antonio was going to try to do. Better late than never. You played Magic basketball. You locked them down enough in the second half of that game to get out of there with an 11-point win. It was the 9th straight game that Franz and Paolo both had 20-plus points. But I think KCP was the story of the night. 8 of 11 from the field, 7 of 9 from 3-point range. And he was really able to knock down big shots, and he has been since the All-Star break. The numbers look really good for KCP. And, oh, by the way, on the season, he is now up to 34.3% 3-point shooting. Maybe not necessarily what you had envisioned when you brought him in, but the guy's a career 36% 3-point shooter. So he's starting to inch up, getting closer to his career averages. So obviously a very nice sign to see KCP knock down some shots the other night, and he really has been since the All-Star break.
Yeah, no question. I think what we're seeing out of him and Caleb Houston is 2 guys who are reverting back to the way that you expect them to play. This isn't a stretch that you go, oh, is it sustainable? The stretch that was unsustainable was the way that they were shooting before the poor shooting took place. So with them heating up, this is what I expected from both KCP and Caleb Houston. What also surprises me, or what is also pleasant and that Magic fans should be happy about, is they're both defending at a very high level, and that's exactly what this Magic team needs. It's 3-and-D guys around Paolo and Franz, and if those 2 get that on a consistent basis,
I'm shocked that we're losing Dan in the middle of Osceola County. It's to Kissimmee to check on the Osceola Magic and their first-round playoff game here tonight. We're checking out highlights from the win the other night against the San Antonio Spurs, and of course, checking out your comments here on the YouTube page. You guys can hit us up. We got Will Dawson in the house. He said, oh, we got Jake tonight. Of course you got Jake tonight, Will. I'm here every night, and I would never abandon you. We're also got Jake Curve saying, Jake and the Savage, drive safe, my guy. Please drive safe, my guy. That is absolutely our top priority here. Will says KCP was on fire.
The car drives itself.
See, that's a good point. Dan's got one of those fancy, we won't name the brand, but he's got one of those fancy self-driving cars. So if you need to break away for some analysis, that's fine. If not, Dan, I'll steer you in the right direction to be sure. Last 11 games, KCP 52.1% from 3-point range, and then Caleb Houston over his last 10, 58.5% from 3-point range. Dan, one thing I was thinking about is obviously transition defense will be a huge key tonight. I don't know if we talk enough about how good the Magic have been all season long. This goes back to the beginning of last year as well. Really, since Coach Mosley's been here, he's been building towards this about limiting 3-point attempts. The Magic allow 41.1 3-point attempts per game. Second is the Houston Rockets at 34.4. We're allowing less than three. I'm sorry, more than three less 3-point attempts a game than the second best team in the Houston Rockets. So what does that tell you? That is part of our game plan. We run teams off the 3-point line, and then you deal with it from there. You kind of funnel them into the middle of the floor. It helps as well that we are the best team in the league as far as shot blocking goes, just under 6 block shots a game. This is how you create a solid, good team defense in today's NBA. It's one thing to allow a good 3-point percentage. It is quite another to limit the amount of attempts, and that's something the Magic have done great all season long, something that's going to have to continue here tonight.
No question. And the Wizards are going to want to turn this into a track meet. Like the Spurs, yes. That's going to be their way to success. And are going to try to take advantage of those opportunities. Wizards are terrible on the glass. They turn the ball over a lot, and they give you opportunities to get out and run and convert those turnovers into points. So that's what I expect from the Magic team tonight, is using that defense to fuel their offense and really take advantage of Wizards' miscues.
Yeah, Washington with a giant injury report, but they do have some good young talent, obviously. Rookies Bob Carrington and Alex Sarr. Sarr's been shooting over 6 threes a game since the All-Star break. He averages over 1.5 blocks per game, 32.3% three-point range. So still some work to be done in that regard, to be sure. But the kid's 19 years old, certainly has a very bright future. And then Bob Carrington is coming off tying a career high last night. He made 5 triples. And he's just been a pretty solid, kind of unheralded rookie. But, you know, the ball has been in his hands since the All-Star break. Another 19-year-old. I mean, we're talking about babies as far as Washington goes. But 4th in pace, 10th in fast break points, and 9th in 3-point attempts, despite the fact that they are 29th in the league in 3-point percentage. So, but they'll turn the ball over. They turn the ball over 15 times a game. That is 27th in the NBA. So ideally, you're turning them over tonight. You're forcing, long misses, and then you're getting out and going. Fast break points, I think, will be a huge key tonight. But anything to kind of take the pressure off of your offense within the half court, it would be really nice if you had a night tonight where Franz and Paolo, nobody wants to see the 20-plus streak end at 9 straight of both those guys scoring 20 or more points. But the bottom line is tonight, I think it's a good opportunity, especially when you look down the bench, for guys like Cole to get their rhythm back a little bit. Maybe Goga is able to have a big impact in this game. Maybe you can keep Caleb shooting the ball well. This should be a game where you can get some good balance offensively. Last time we saw Washington, we had 5 scorers in double digits. All 5 starters scored in double digits. Hopefully you can alleviate some of the burden on Franz and Paolo tonight.
No question. I really think that for the Magic guys to get right, you really look at guys like Wendell, Goga Batadze to have big nights tonight. The Wizards allow a lot of opportunities on the glass, allow a lot of offensive rebounds. They allow the second most second chance points in the NBA. So the Magic will have opportunities on the glass to really capitalize. So I expect Paolo and Franz to have good nights on top of that. But I think the Magic role players can really control the game by getting out in transition and really dominating on the glass tonight.
There is, of course, some playoff implications tonight. The Pistons will clinch a top 6 seed with an Orlando loss tonight. Magic are locked in to the play-in tournament with a loss tonight and either a Miami loss or a Milwaukee win. So it's looking like it's going to be the play-in scenario. You're sort of running out of time to make a run at Milwaukee/Detroit for that 6th seed in the Eastern Conference. But right now, and look, Atlanta loses another game last night. Dallas got Anthony Davis back, and they were able to help us out a little bit. So as of right now, you need to be focused, I think, on securing the 7th seed in the Eastern Conference, but you need to be focused on the Washington Wizards right now. And then you come back, you get a couple days off here at the Kia Center and at home before you come back for a very big week, obviously, coming up next week. Checking out your comments here on the YouTube page, and we got a whole lot of them coming in. Will says, yes, Jake, have them play our game. Don't get into an AAU track meet. That is always a good idea. Tinkering says, let's go Magic. Don't underestimate the Wizards. And that's something that I think Coach Mosley's done a really good job with, even since he's been here. Magic have performed well against sub-500 teams. They've taken care of business against this Washington team. And, early in the game, you may see, sort of similar to what you saw against San Antonio the other night, where trying to get your offense going, you're sort of playing their game a little bit. But as long as you strap in at some point tonight and defend those extended stretches, and I think you'll be able to get out of there with the dub. Ideally, it's Jake Chapman here with you. We've got the broadcast coming up on the radio side. We're on FM 104.5 tonight. That'll be a 6:30 pregame show with Brandon Kravitz. He just arrived. He's to my left here in the Juice Box Studios here at the Kia Center. And then the opening tap at 7 o'clock on FM 104.5. You can always stream us on iHeartRadio, on the Orlando Magic app, or outside of the listening area on the NBA League Audio Pass or Sirius XM as well. Dan, some other keys for tonight. What do you got your eye on, or anything that might kind of trip the Magic up a little bit with this Washington group?
Yeah, I think, eyes have to be on their young players. Those guys are certainly capable of heating up on any given night. But on top of that, I really think for the Magic, it's about playing their brand of basketball, locking down on the defensive end, really controlling the glass on both ends, closing out possessions. How many times have we heard the Magic guys, emphasize that, the coaching staff emphasize that? Where have the Wizards been terrible all season? Closing out possessions. They can't get the rebound. They turn the ball over. They can't finish plays. They're a poor shooting team. So the Magic will have opportunities if they play their brand of basketball.
We got some shoot-around sound from this morning, I believe. Let's go ahead and roll that.
Guys were down in the third, but then what does it say about this team to continue to find consistent ways to grow together, to find that grit and resilience to bounce back in that fourth, to grab the win?
Yeah, we're stronger together. I felt like we played a good game, executed the game plan well, and we just stayed together. We stayed resilient. They were playing hell of basketball. They were moving it. They were making shots. So throughout the game, we just tried to keep, pressure on them defensively. And overall, that got us some overlooks, some open looks, and we made them.
And how do you want to use kind of what you guys have learned from that game going into this one tonight to finish strong against DC?
It's a full 48 minutes. They're young. They got a lot of energy. They're going to be playing very hard. So we got to go out there, execute the game plan again for a full 48.
Game real quick, to be down just by 5 after the third, but what did it say about the consistent growth of this team to rally, come together, and to finish out strong in that fourth to get the win?
Yeah, I think, just walking in, it was a back-to-back. And so, it took us a while to get going, I think defensively. But I think credit to the bench unit. I think they made a pretty good run headed into the fourth, or at the start of the fourth, I think, where they tied the game back up. And, we were able to just make ourselves and come in and close the game out.
When you take those lessons like that, how do you want to bring those together to continue to be consistent and stay strong, especially in a game like tonight, and to get that win?
Yeah, it's just another challenge for us on the road, against a team that, they're not playing for playoffs, but they're still, playing hard, and they just beat Sacramento last night. So knowing that, we can't just come in expecting the game to be handed to us. We have to execute and do what we have to do to, take the game and get the win. So.
All right, there you go. The fellas at Shootaround this morning, they know that this is a game that you should get, but also a game that if you trick around too much, then you end up potentially getting caught. And so the Magic have done a good job of, I think, locking in all season long. I don't know if people are seeing Dan Savage upside down now. I'm not sure if that's just something that's happening for me, but I don't think it's Dan's car is upside down. I think it's just the phone is reoriented itself. Oh man, we're having all kinds of fun. Real quick before you go, we've got the injury report here. Let me get to that very, very briefly because it is pretty long for the Washington Wizards. Magic are healthy. Mac McClung and Ethan Thompson are hopefully going to win a playoff game in the G League playoffs tonight. And then, of course, Jalen and Mo Wagner out. Sadiq Bey is out. Malcolm Brogdon is out. Bilal Coulibaly is out. Keyshawn George is out. Rashawn Holmes is out. Corey Kispert is out. Chris Middleton is out. Jordan Poole is out. So that's essentially half of an NBA team that won't be suiting up tonight for the Washington Wizards. But as we mentioned, it's a KYP game. Know your personnel. You've got rookies in Bub Carrington and Alex Sarr, who I think you have a sense of what those guys are capable of. But then Tristan Vukcevic and JT Thor and Colby Jones, these guys, you got to be locked in on tendencies and be aware of who it is you're squaring off against tonight, against this Washington team. And starting lineups, not positive what it'll look like for Washington. I do know what it'll look like for Orlando. Kojo is going to be in there once again for his 13th start. He's 7-5 as a starter, 7-4 with this starting lineup, with KCP next to him, Franz, Paolo, and of course Wendell Carter Jr. as well. And you're starting to see the Magic, I think, gain a little bit of traction with that starting group. We've talked about Kojo quite a bit. We've talked about his coffee intake with Dan Savage. We've talked about what he has brought just as far as pace and as far as getting the team organized. And oh, by the way, he's been shooting the ball pretty well as well over the last 11 games. Corey Joseph is up over 35% from three-point range. You got 5 guys shooting better than 34% over the last 11 games for this Magic team. Kojo's at 39. AB is at 37.1%. Even Wendell Carter Jr. over the last 11 games is at 34.4% from three-point range. So it obviously makes a huge difference when you're getting that from those guys. What happens if Franz and Paolo start knocking down their threes? They weren't on that list. 5 guys shooting better than 34% from three last 11 games. And of course, that includes Caleb Houston and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who have shot the orange off the basketball over the course of the last 11 games as well. Getting a look right now at Gary Harris, I believe that is, getting shots up. Last thing before we go, how about Cole Anthony? Back the other night, he played 19 minutes, really brought some juice, 9 points, 3 of 8 from the field, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals in his 19 minutes. Having Cole back in there as sort of another one of those insurance policies coming off the bench. You've got a lot of guys right now who can heat up in a game. You're looking at one, Gary Harris for sure. But then with Cole and then the way Caleb and Kenny are shooting right now, the three-point woes feel like potentially a thing of the past. We know the Magic are never going to make 25 threes night in and night out. They may do it one night, but it's trending certainly upward in a positive direction right now. You're starting to get some balance offensively. And oh, by the way, since over the course of the last 11 games, that number I was looking at, the Magic are 8th in net rating. And so the defense has been as advertised, as good as it has been all season long. And the offense, you know, you're creeping out of the bottom 5 teams in the NBA as far as offensive efficiency. It's still not a top 10 team offensively, but as that creeps up, you're starting to see the net rating creep up as well. And the Magic 7-4 over those last 11 games. Again, you could listen to our radio broadcast tonight, our audio broadcast on FM 104.5, beginning at 6:30 with the pregame show. We'll have the call at 7 o'clock. You can stream us in the iHeartRadio app or the Orlando Magic app as well. And as always, if you're outside of the listening area, make sure you check us out on Sirius XM or on NBA League Audio Pass. He's Dan Savage for OrlandoMagic.com. I think he is at his destination safely. I'm going to text him when we get done, but I appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. As always, Jason Dewberry, Houston McCullough there in Washington, D.C. as well. Go Magic. We'll talk to you guys later. Have a good night, everybody.